And welcome, folks, to Medicare Made ABCDEasy. This is Matt McNeil on the board here today. We've got Danny Gilley on the phone lines calling in today. Now, the phone lines will be open today, 847-931-1410. So if you have any questions for Danny, please feel free to reach out again, 847-931-1410. He's calling in from the office today, but we've got Medicare Made ABCDEasy. Please welcome Danny here to the stage. Hey, Danny.
Yes, good morning. How are you guys doing? I will say last week, unfortunately, I was unable to make it. I was actually at the Mercy Hospital. I had got a blood clot in my lung, unexpected. But I can tell you they were so nice to me. The Mercy on Riverside in Rockford, I had some of the best treatment I've had. Of course, I don't have a lot of experience. It was the first time I was into the hospital since in the 70s. But anyway, I'm back and I'm ready to go. We have a call-in line. So if you have any questions that come to mind, even during the show or even after, it's 630-320-6906. That's our reservation line, and also you can leave a message there, and I will get back to you when the show is over. Or you can go to dybvikinsurance.com. That's Dybvik Gilley Insurance.com. You can actually leave a message there, too. And you can, while you're there, you can kind of go through the website and get some information on some of the different products that we have. So let's just get straight to the program this morning. What I want to talk about is, we just finished our open enrollment for Medicare's prescription drugs and Advantage plans. Okay, so if you did not make that change in your prescription drug plan by midnight, December 7th, then you will have to stay on the same plan that you had last year, and there are no exceptions to that rule. I had my phone open all weekend, and I did get some late callers, which I was happy to take good care of them. And like I said, until I think I shut my phone off at like 10 o'clock at night. I just wanted to make sure if anybody called, I was able to take care of them before the end of that open enrollment. Now, the next enrollment period that we have is what we call the Medicare Advantage Plan open enrollment. And I'm going to go over that because a lot of people don't realize that is out there for them. So let's say you were listening to the TV or basically the TV, and they had those 800 numbers that they promised you everything, including the kitchen sink. And so you call in, and they're not very helpful. Their job is just to sign you up for something. And unfortunately, that's what they do. They don't look what's best for you. They'll just enroll you into something. And so anyway, you take that enrollment and you go in January and you find out that your doctors aren't in their networks, your hospital's not in their networks, and you think you're stuck. Well, you're not. If you decide to change that, just give me a call on our reservation line, 630-320-6906. And we can switch it for you. So if you call in January, I can have you in that new plan that best suits you on February 1. If you call in February, I can move you and have you in that plan in March. If you call in March, I can have it in April. But after March 31st, there are no more changes for you that is available. We have had calls in the past, and that's where they panic because they realize that they're not on the right plan. Because unfortunately, what they do is when they do those ads, it is so close to false advertising, I can't believe it. they have all these freebies. You get free groceries, free travel to the doctor. You get a gym membership. You get dental. You get eye care, and you get money back on your Part A or Part B deduction that Medicare charges. And they're reading off all of these giveaways. Well, when you call them up, and in that ad, if you look very closely in the fine print, it's going to say not available in all areas. Well, sure it isn't. So you give them your zip code, and they go, oh, well, no, we don't have that in your particular zip code, but we have this that we have. And then they kind of like to sign you up, and probably the program that they're most comfortable with or they prefer. I know that in the past where that just happened to a couple of clients, and then they called me because they called their friend and they said, I think I'm in a mistake. What do I do? And then my clients will give them my phone number, and then I bail them out. And so basically, what you want to do if you have that situation where you aren't sure that whether you're in the right plan or not, but you want to run it by me just to make sure that you didn't make that mistake, I can correct it for you. So if you call me, like I said, in this month in January, starting January, I can have you switched over to February. If you call in February, I can have you switched over in March. If you call me in March, I can have you switched over the first day of April. But after that, you will stay on that Advantage plan that you were enrolled into, because there's no changes after that. Now, let's say you decide that, I've had this Advantage plan, and I'm totally not happy. I'm kind of soured on the whole Advantage plan situation. Well, you can call me, and you can go back to original Medicare and select a Medicare supplement and a drug plan. So that is another option for you that you can do up until March 31st. Now, keep in mind, if we do opt to move you into a Medicare supplement, a lot of the supplement companies will have you do an underwriting. There is one company out there that doesn't ask any health questions. So I can safely, guarantee you I can get you in a Medicare supplement under that plan with no questions asked. So there are some outs for you. So don't feel that you're left out in no man's land and you're stuck with what you have, because that's not what it is. We can make those changes. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there that have had problems with making the right selection because they dialed that 800 number. And unfortunately, they don't do a good job, like, for instance, Julianne, Eric, or myself. Because when we sit down with the client and they are interested in an Advantage plan, we go over everything. First of all, the questions that we ask is the Advantage plan your best option? Okay, then we go through and explain exactly what a Medicare supplement is. And then we go through it, and so that you totally understand what a Medicare Advantage is and how they work. Because so many times I hear, I want that zero premium product that has that gym membership. Well, that's all they're hearing, and so then I go through them with them, and I says, well, yes, it is true. It is a zero premium, monthly zero premium, but I want you to understand that every time you go to a doctor outside of your PCP doctor, there's going to be a copay. So on specialists, there's copays. If you go into the hospital, and then you get ready for a copay for the first 6 it depends on the plan. It can vary between 3 to 6 days. There's copays. If you need to have an MRI, there's a copay. If you need to have a PET scan, there's a copay. And some of those copays are, $200 and more. And then, of course, if you go outside of network, if you happen to have a PPO and you go outside of network, all those copays will double. So keep in mind when you're looking at Advantage plans, you need to understand how they work. Now, don't get me wrong. I have some clients that have Advantage plans that just love them. But I have more than potential people that have been on the Advantage plan because it was not explained properly to them, and they don't like them. But that a lot of times I blame that on the person sitting down with them, going over and doing the comparison. So we do a comparison with the Advantage plan and a supplement. And I want you, and then we do this as an educational piece. I want you to be totally educated as to what you're enrolling into. If you want an Advantage plan, after we go through everything, I will help you pick it out. I will make sure that that doctor that you want to go to is in that network, and that if you have a dentist, make sure that that dentist is in that network, so that at least if you do decide on an Advantage plan, you pick out the right one, okay? The hospital is in that network. But then a lot of times after I go through everything, I says, now it's your choice. Do you want a Medicare Advantage plan or do you want a supplement? Well, I go through the supplement. I go through exactly what is a supplement? What is a Medicare supplement? Well, Medicare supplement is connected to your original Medicare. So remember those PPOs and those HMOs in the Medicare Advantage side? There is no such thing in the supplement side. So if you decide to supplement, then you attach that to your original Medicare. So if you call a doctor or a hospital, you don't ask them if they take whatever supplement company you are on. You just simply say, do you take Medicare? Because remember that Medicare supplement is connected to your original Medicare. If they say, yes, I take Medicare, then you're in. That means all the doctors and Medicare. So all you have to do is call the doctor or the hospital. All hospitals take Medicare because it's a federal program. But if you have a doctor and you call him up and you say, do you take Medicare? He says, yes, we do. Then that's as far as you have to go. You know that that doctor is in your Medicare and supplement program. Another thing, in Medicare, it's medically necessary. So meaning the services that you have, it's much easier to get an approval. Whereas in Advantage plans, they have to run it through the network, and then a lot of times they say no, it's not approved. And of course, if it's not approved, then you can file a complaint. But in original Medicare, if it's medically necessary, it's approved. You don't have to get an approval to go to a specialist in original Medicare. So you can call up a specialist and make the appointment. You don't need to go through an approval process. And then basically, how's the payment work? Well, you pay your monthly premium, whatever it is. And if you have a Plan G, which is the most popular, there's an annual deductible, $257. So if you go to a hospital and the hospital is going to bill Medicare, Medicare will pay the premium except if there's a deductible that you still owe. And then they would send that bill to you. Then you would send that check to the hospital, which is your deductible. Going forward, any other bills that you would have, it would automatically, it doesn't matter, the doctor, the hospital, the the Medicare or the doctors send the bill to Medicare. The Medicare makes the payment, sends it to your provider, and then it's automatically connected over to the supplement company that you chose, and Medicare tells the supplement company what they have to pay. So it isn't a situation where the supplement company say, oh, no, I'm not interested in paying that, because it doesn't work that way. Okay, so Medicare, supplement connected together. And another thing I want to bring up is I hear this all the time, and I want to clarify something. And it's nothing I've said, because I always clarify this. When you take on a supplement, which is connected to Medicare, I want you just to assume that it's a can of Coca-Cola. Okay, so you can buy a can of Coke at all the grocery stores, CVS, the gas stations, it doesn't matter. Can of Coke is a can of Coke, right? Well, those grocery stores and those gas stations are not bottling that can of Coke in the back room, right? The Coca-Cola company is delivering that can of Coke to all these different outlets. So I want you just to assume that can of Coke company is Medicare, because Medicare makes the supplements. The supplement company does not. So the supplements are made by Medicare. So let's say Plan G or Plan N or Plan F. That is made by Medicare. It is given to all of the different outlets to sell. So when somebody says to you that Plan G at company ABC, they say it's the best Plan G out there. Well, they're not telling you the truth, because it's a can of Coke. Okay, so anytime you hear that my Plan G is better than any of the other supplement companies out there, that they're kind of not telling you the truth, right? So another reason why I bring this up is because right now there's some huge price differences in Medicare supplements. And this doesn't come along that often, but this year it did. And I probably have moved 60 or 70 people from my supplement side over to a new plan to save them money. And I've heard this, and I say, well, is it as good as the plan that I have now? And then I go through, it's a can of Coke. And I go, yeah, but I've heard this plan, and I've had it a long time. No, you can stay there. I'm just telling you, I have an opportunity to switch what you have now to a different company and save you money. And I'm not talking $5 here a month. Some of the savings are $50 and $75 a month savings. So when I go through and I finally explain everything where they understand that it's a can of Coke, a Plan G is a Plan G, and I don't care what company you buy it from, the coverage is the same, okay? And then they say, well, I have never heard of that company. Well, it hasn't been in this area a long time, but it's an A-rated company. And so I go, this is your option, okay? You can stay for where you are and pay X amount of dollars, which is about $50 more than what I can get you, or we can try going through underwriting with that company and see if I can get you issued. And if I can't, no problem, you stay where you are. We don't make any changes there. So there really is no loss. It's just basically paperwork. But if I can save you $700 or more a year or $500 or more a year, that's my goal. Because I make a commitment to my clients that every year when I do my review, if there's something out there that I can save you money with, that's where we're going. And then, of course, some of the clients say, well, yeah, but I've been with that company for so many years. And I had that company even when I was working on my job. That's the company I had, and I'm kind of partial to it. And then I explained to them, I want you to know that under 65 and also employee plans are not Medicare plans. So you're in a whole new world now. True, some of those other plans during the under 65 can vary a lot, and the companies can vary a lot in what they offer and their payments and stuff like that. But in Medicare world, okay, if you take a plan G, okay, I'm just using this as an example, from company A, do you realize that it has to be sold for the same price, whether it's through an agent, online, by mail? It doesn't matter. It's the same price. So why would you not elect to do business with a local agent that's going to be with you during the whole time of your retirement? Making sure every year you're going to have that review. Every year knowing that I'm getting you or showing you the best price available. Now, keep in mind, I do not sell any companies that are not an A-rated company. And an A-rated company is, all it means is they pay good, okay? And almost every one of them out there do, because I've heard this before. Well, what if they don't pay? Well, trust me, if Medicare is in control, if that supplement company doesn't pay their portion on a timely basis, guess what? They're no longer in the program. So they're not going to take that chance. So you don't have to worry about the supplement company paying, because they usually pay immediately. And so that's the biggest issues that we found when people are deciding between supplement companies is that's the biggest pushback that I've heard. Well, yeah, but do they pay? Yes, they have to, because Medicare directs them. They don't have a choice as to what they want to pay. Medicare directs them as to what they have to pay. And then, of course, they pay it. So those are kind of the differences between the Medicare Advantage plans and the supplements. Now, there's a lot of other differences, obviously. If you travel outside of your local network, and so I'm saying if you travel outside of Elgin and you go anywhere, if you travel even to Rockford, that's a different network. But let's say you travel to Florida or Colorado. Okay, I'll finish this up because I'm on a roll. So as soon as we come back from break, I want to talk about this because it is important. Thank you.
Back, folks, to Medicare Made ABCDEasy. We've got Danny here with us to continue on into the rest of this 9 o'clock hour.
And good morning. I just wanted to let you know what our reservation line is. It's 630-320-6906. If you want to leave a message for me, just say, hey, I want to talk to Danny, and heard him on the radio, and I have a question. Or you can go to ddginsurance.com, which is Dybvik Gilley insurance.com. And the reason why I want to bring that up is I work with two phenomenal people. So Julianne Dybvik and Eric Dybvik work in the office with myself, and we actually do all of the Medicare Made ABCDEasy programs. Between the four of us, we got 40 years of experience in the Medicare arena, so there's not anything we haven't heard of. So again, talking about brokers, and I'm going to just touch on that a little bit, and then I'm going to get back on what I was talking about before the break. Now, Julie and Eric and myself are brokers. Matter of fact, there's not a company out there that if that we cannot get, but we get all the A-rated companies. We have so many. Different companies are better at different underwriting situations. So because of that, we carry all of the primary companies, and that's basically all we carry, but there's quite a few of them. Now, the other thing, too, that I want to talk about is if you're traveling. So it's very important. So if you're a snowbird, for instance, and most of them are out of the area already, but let's just assume that you may eventually want to be a snowbird, and you have a supplement. You can take that supplement with you because it's good in the entire nation. So that Medicare supplement, if you're out east and you want to go to Johns Hopkins, you can take it and go there. Or you have a situation where you have a medical issue and you know that Johns Hopkins is the one that's going to be able to take care of you. Guess what? You can go there. Or let's say you hear that the special doctor that you need to work on a certain thing is up at the UW hospital in Madison. You can take that supplement and go there. What I'm trying to tell you, you have nationwide coverage. Any doctor, any hospital in the nation, and you can go there. That's the benefit of a supplement. Okay, I mean, it means a lot because when you're in those PPOs and HMOs, you know, you don't always have that type of selections that you can make. And it's very, very important. Now, I want to also go over a couple things, too, that during this time of year, everybody assumes that the Medicare supplement is part of the annual enrollment period. It is not, okay? A Medicare supplement, I can change that every month if you want. You will have to pass underwriting, or there's one company out there that doesn't ask underwriting, and the premiums are a little higher. But let's say you were on an Advantage plan and you wanted to exchange off of it during the January, February, March, that you can do that. I can get you in a supplement. One of them, I can guarantee you I can get you in a supplement. Okay? Go back to original Medicare, put you in a supplement, and pick out your drug plan. That's not an issue. Okay? Now, for people that are already on supplements, and this is something that you're going to see, because in the supplements that we've seen in the Elgin, Oak Brook, Rockford area, has been certain companies, and some of them we've sold more than others. And what we've noticed is a lot of them have been taking sizable rate increases. Now, you may be caught up in that. And if you are caught up in that and you're noticing that you're getting a sizable rate increase, don't just sit there. Give me a call at 630-320-6906. Let me see if I can find you a supplement that is less expensive, but it's still an A-rated company. And remember, it's a Coca-Cola. It's a Plan G, is a Plan G. It doesn't matter what company you buy it. Plan N is a Plan N. Doesn't make any difference where you buy it. So don't just sit on that supplement and accept those rate increases without doing your due diligence. I know that I can tell you I've been on 3 different supplement companies over the years because I always look at those. So another thing, let's say that particular Plan F that you're on has quadrupled in rates over the past few years. Well, I want to tell you the reason why that has happened. Because healthy people as of 2020 have not been put on Plan F. In other words, they can't even purchase Plan F. So what has happened is the people that are on Plan F have probably been on there a while, and obviously you know what happens. As you get older, the cost of that supplement goes up, and then the experience rate of a Plan F, since they have older people, they tend to use the program more, where consequently the premiums go up. So if you are in a situation where you are on that Plan F, and I don't care what Coca-Cola company you bought it from, Plan F from whatever company, it's all the same. It's a Plan F. Do yourself a favor. Give me a call. Let me see if I can save you some money. Because the only difference between Plan F and Plan G is the annual deductible. So you go, well, I want that Plan F I heard is the best plan out there. And I go, is it? If it's costing you more than $257 difference between the Plan F and the Plan G, is it better? No. So I have seen people paying $500, $600 more for a Plan F, where I could put them in a Plan G, and then they would just have to pay the annual deductible, so they saved over $400. Is the coverage the same then? Yes. The only difference is the deductible. So your coverage in a Plan G and a Plan F is identical except for the deductible. So don't feel like I'm in a Plan F and I can't buy a better program out there, because that is not true. Okay. So look at that. If you are on Plan F, I want you to call me, 630-320-6906. Excuse me, and I'll see if there's a plan out there that we can utilize. Hey, let's assume I can't. Okay, so let's assume that you're on that Plan F and we just can't move you to any other one. Well, you can break that down to a Plan G, which will save, or even people out there have even elected to go to a Plan N. Okay, the Plan N came out in 2010. And the difference in the Plan N and the Plan G is basically you have the annual deductible, the $257, but there's a copay structure. So if you go to a doctor, you're going to pay $20. If you go to an emergency room, it's $50. If you get admitted, it's not charged. You will still pay the deductible, and there's what we call a medical surcharge. So if you want to have an excess charge, so if you want to have a surgeon do it and the surgeon says, yes, I'm not in the Medicare program, but I will accept Medicare payment, he can charge you a 15% surcharge. I don't see that too often, but that's the difference. But how much can you save per month by selecting a Plan N over a Plan G or a Plan F? Is considerable. You also can select maybe selecting a hospital in your area, and you can select that particular hospital if you know you're not going to be traveling, you're just going to be in the same network area all the time. You can also save money that way. So there's ways that you can cut back on the cost of that supplement. And basically, to go over that with you, it basically takes a few minutes. And let's just put it this way. If everything we try and we can't save you any money and you have to stay where you are, you haven't been hurt. You're still there. You're still paying the premium. You still have the coverage. But I always tell my clients, let's research this. It's only paperwork, and you're not even doing it. I am. I'm the one that's filling out the paperwork for you, and believe me, trust me when I tell you, I will look at everything first and kind of give you an idea. If you have some health issues, I can kind of tell you, well, we might want to stay away from this company because they're a little more stricter on those items. Maybe we'd go to this company because I find that it is a little more lenient. So all of those things put aside, it's basically if you don't find something that will save you money, then we just basically leave you where you are. No harm, no foul. It's just basically doing our research. And that's a part of the research. And like I say, with my clients, I tell them every year when we have our annual review, I want to make sure that you don't spend one nickel more for your health care than you need to. You'd be surprised how many people over this last month I've saved over $500, $600, $700 a year in premiums that they were paying that they didn't need to. So again, if you got that supplement and you want to stay on that supplement because you've heard some of the horrors about the Advantage plans, well, here's your opportunity. Let's stay on that supplement, but let's keep it more cost positive for you. And then that's basically the differences. Now, the other thing that I'm going to talk about just briefly is once you're on your Part A and your Part B and you need to select a program and you've decided that the Advantage side was one that you wanted to really look at to see if it was something that you would be happy with. Okay. The most important thing, and this is what I tell you to do before I even meet with you. I want you to give me a list of all your doctors, specialists. I want a list of all your medications, dosage and times per day. And I basically want to see exactly what program is going to be the best one for you. And I go in and I do the research for you. And then I tell you what Advantage plan in your area is going to do the best job for you. Now, some people like HMOs, and I'm going to kind of touch on HMO. Now, the HMOs are a little less expensive. The maximum out of pocket is a little bit less. And some of the HMOs, the copays are lower. So some of my clients say, well, I live in DuPage County, for instance, or Lee, or in Cook County, and I'm kind of want to know what would be my best value. And, I'm only on Social Security, and I have very limited on my income. You might want to look at an HMO. An HMO is a managed health organization. That's what it stands for. And your PCP doctor is the one that refers you on to any of the specialists in his network. Okay, it's going to be a smaller network, but of course, if we do our due diligence and your PCP doctor's there and so is your specialist, you can save some money there by going to an HMO. Keep in mind, though, you can't go outside that HMO because if you do, you don't have any coverage, except in an emergency. Let's say you were in a car accident and they needed to take you to the hospital. Well, they're not going to look in your wallet to see what network hospital you need to be going to. They're going to take you to the closest hospital, and then once they get you stabilized, if it is not your network hospital, then they will transfer you to your network hospital at the same price. So there are some differences out there, and by knowing what is available and what the cost factors are, you can go through to see if there's money to be saved. Now, I want to go back to, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but basically I wanted to get this in the supplement area. Now, remember I told you you've got the Plan N, which would be cheaper. You pay a $20 copay $50 for emergency room. You still pay the deductible. Now, whether it's a plan N, a plan G, or a plan F, you can opt to choose the hospital in your area, and that would be the hospital that you would go to for elective surgeries or elective services. By selecting that, you can also save money on your monthly cost of the premium. So there's a lot of ways that you can take the Advantage plan and save money by going to a HMO. There's ways that you can take that supplement. And if you're in Plan F, reduce that down to a Plan G or a Plan N. And then also by selecting the local hospital, especially if you're not going to do any traveling, and that local hospital is the one that you're going to, and that local hospital is in that network option, then a lot of my clients have opted to take that choice. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can save money on your Medicare costs. Then, of course, on the prescription drugs, there's been a lot of changes in the prescription drugs, and unfortunately, what has happened is the prescription drug companies have opted not to commission a lot of their products. So basically, it's getting to the point where a lot of the clients have to go online and choose their own prescription drug company. So basically, what we still do, or I still do, I'll take your prescription list and tell you what company is going to be the best one for you. And if it's not something that I'm able to enroll you into, I'll give you the 800 number or the website, and then you can go ahead and enroll it yourself. Unfortunately, that's just the kind of the game that has been played in the last couple of years, and it's getting more and more companies are going that direction. So I still want to hand carry our clients as far as we can take you, and then let you make that decision as you go forward. But as far as your supplement company and your MAPD, your Advantage side, on those things, we will totally carry you through and make sure that you're in the right program. Now, another thing I tell my clients too, and Julie and Eric did the same thing, put my phone number in your phone. If you have a question on your supplement, don't call the supplement company. They don't know who you are. And just give me a call, and usually within 24 hours, I've called you back. Send me a text message. Send me an email, and I can go over, answer that question for you much quicker. And I can guarantee you the answer you get from me is going to be the correct one, okay? I can't guarantee you that if you call 1-800-MEDICARE, because a lot of times, depending on how you ask that question, will depend on what answer you get. So when I talk to you about it, I want to understand exactly what you're asking. So I may ask you to repeat it. And now, am I understanding you correct that this is the question that you had? Yes. Okay, great. I can answer that. Same way if you have an Advantage plan. Again, before you call the company, because keep in mind on the Advantage side, you call them, you don't call Medicare. I can't guarantee you on the Advantage side that that person that is answering that phone call for you is stationed in the United States. And I don't know, but I've had a few situations where I couldn't understand a word they were saying. And if that happens to you, you call the company, the Medicare Advantage company, and you can't understand them. Be polite, but just simply say, I cannot understand a word that you're saying. Can you transfer me to somebody that that can speak English better and less broken. Don't be afraid to do that. I mean, it's your option. You're talking to them on the phone. If they're not answering your questions properly, because you can't understand them, what good is that? Go ahead and ask for somebody else. I mean, I've done that myself. I got on the phone and there's a question that I had about their particular program, and I couldn't understand a word that the person was saying. And I just said, excuse me, I cannot understand a word that you're saying. I apologize, but can you get me somebody that speaks very clear English? And usually they will just say, okay, and then they'll hang up and then they'll give you somebody else. But don't get stuck in that area. Now, on the pretty much every one of the supplements that we use, I don't see that as a big issue. For some reason, it's more with the Advantage side than it is the supplement side. Again, though, if it does happen to you and you're talking to a Medicare supplements person, just ask to talk to somebody that you can understand. Best option, you call me, okay? Call my cell phone. I monitor that 24/7 most of the time. And I will be able to answer those questions for you, and you won't be put on hold. Well, with that, I see that my time is almost up, and I will see you next month on the first Tuesday in January at the same time, same station. And I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you.